Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. This is the Be Great series. We have been coming to you since January with some amazing topics, and today is no different. We are excited to bring you this topic of overcoming and embracing change as an entrepreneur. And I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Carolyn Bobb-Green. She's also the proud sponsor of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling amazing, especially with this topic, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely has been a whirlwind of just amazing concepts that we're bringing to the small businesses, to entrepreneurs, to women, to really embrace that be great essence of their business, of their mindset, of just all those things. So tell us a little bit about why this topic is so near and dear to, or should be so near and dear to entrepreneurs, and really getting the tools that we're about to bring.
Well, I'm going to say this, that as an entrepreneur, every obstacle that you can think of can be thrown your way and at you. And if you're not flexible and you're not able to embrace the change, then what's going to happen is you're going to get burned out very fast and you're going to walk away from your business. Most businesses within the first couple of years fall apart or people leave them. And it's not because it was too hard, or that it's because they could not embrace and overcome the challenges and understand that change has to happen in order for you to be able to grow. So I am very much a person that have been taught and raised that you can't pour new wine into old skins. And a lot of time that we go into business and new wine tries to float into our business, new ideas, new things, but we're so stuck in our ways and so stuck in our systems that we cannot receive what is trying to flow into us. And so that is, my friend, the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, expecting something to change, and it doesn't. And we just have to be open to overcoming those challenges and embracing that change. So it is dear to my heart because I've been there, done that, wrote the book about it, made a movie about it, sold it on Broadway, all the above. And so
I love that. I love that. It's so true. I quoted in my first book, Building a Leadership Mindset, and I quoted it by Will Smith, but I'm sure there were some other versions of it. And he wasn't the original, but is you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And just being in corporate, just knowing, trying to climb the corporate ladder in a career, in education, and all those things, the common denominator is change. There's always something new happening. There's always a new hurdle, a new mountain to climb, and it's all about the journey. So we're about to give you some amazing tips and strategies that you can use from today moving forward. Get your pens, get your papers ready. You might have to watch this on replay, remind yourself. And a lot of these things are things that we may have heard of. We may have been told, whether by family members, by a coach, a teacher, anything like that. But we're going to bring it to you in a way where you are just going to embrace it. I feel it, that we're going to embrace these practical strategies, and we're going to just continue to be great every step that we take towards our journey. So Dr. Carolyn, do you want to start us off with your first tip?
Well, I kind of started off talking about it, and that was pouring new wine into old wineskins. I don't know if you guys have heard of that before, but basically, if you have something that is like really old and pouring, falling apart, and you pour something new into it, number one, it's going to take on that taste. It's going to start leaking out. And so you're not going to be able to get the fullness of it because it's in an old container. I mean, funny story. I used to go to some family members' houses, and you know how some people's house have a smell, and that smell can get into the food. And so whenever this friend of mine used to give food from their house, and I would cook it and smell it, it would taste and smell like their house. So everything that they put into the house took on that house's persona, that smell and that flavor. And so will the things that try to come into your life. It will take on all of your bad habits and all of those things that you used to do, and then it will mess up that new opportunity that you have. And so when you are asking for the next level and next level results, but you have last season's habits, last season's systems, and last season's mindsets, then guess what? That next level can never get there, because that taste, that flavor, that thing that you were holding on to is going to pour into that. So you have to get rid of your old routines. You have to dive deep into the relationships that are around you, your limited beliefs, your outdated offers and systems that you have in place. That paper and pen cannot get you as far as automations can get you. Getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, when you're trying to level up and reach new places, this season may call for you getting up at 4:30 a.m. and going to bed at 11 o'clock. It doesn't mean that it has to be a permanent habit, but it cannot thrive and grow with you doing the same things that you were doing last time. New money that's trying to flow to you. You can't handle new money if you don't have the account set up the right way. If you're not having an accountant to take out the taxes. A lot of us want to be millionaires, but we don't want the millionaire problems. So we have to set ourselves up for that next level in order for us to be able to receive all the things, all the greatness, all the obstacles, embrace them, all the challenges that come along with it. And our old self will not be able to handle that. So I want you guys to think about one strategy, one thing that you were doing, one pattern, one belief system, one thing that you need to leave behind today in order for you to level up, to receive the new wine, the newness, the greatness that's about to pour into you. And I don't know about you, Nikki, but in this season, I've been forced to stretch, to really stretch myself. I used to be a person that, woke up late and went to bed late. And in this season, well, actually a couple of seasons ago, I was told that if you don't start getting up earlier, you're going to start missing opportunities. You're going to miss the opportunity to be able to share a part of you that you can't share at 10 o'clock, because now everybody else is awake. Now everybody else wants a piece of you. And now you cannot do those things that you intended to do. And when that came to me, that season changed, and I started waking up at 4:30, and I noticed that my productivity level shot off the roof, and I get more done before 1 o'clock than most people get done all day, just because I wake up a little bit earlier in the morning. So you can't pour this new wine into those old wineskins, and don't even try it.
Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. When you said wine, you know what it took me to? It took me to an episode of I Love Lucy where they were in that big barrel and they were crushing the grapes and making the wine, like starting that process. And that's what it drew me to. Just again, just getting up early, getting stuff done. That's so true. Sometimes I'm up at 5:30. By 10, I'm like done. I'm done. I'm ready for my calls. I'm ready for podcast recording, but all of the back end stuff that people don't realize as an entrepreneur, especially if you're doing solo, you definitely need to be up at 4 or 5 so you can get all of those nuances of your business, the content creation, the images, those things, like, build it out. So thank you so much for that. That wine, perfect analogy for this as well. But it actually leads me into my first tip is reframing that challenge, whatever challenge that is day in and day out. Reframe it as a catalyst. the strategy is really to shift your mindset from why is this happening to me to what is this trying to teach me. Once we pause and we start asking ourselves these questions, it builds a resilience by positioning obstacles as lessons rather than limitations. You are not limited to anything. This world is truly abundant. Like there is opportunity after opportunity after opportunity out there, but we are so caught up in the what happened, what could have happened, what should have happened, instead of saying, okay, let's put this together. This is the catalyst. This is my pause time, right? This challenge has just stopped me in my tracks. What is the next steps to get me through this? Because you can't go over it, you can't go around it, because the challenge is just going to be doing those things. It's just going to be a bandage, and then it's going to come back again. And guess what? We're going to be frustrated again, and we're going to throw in the towel, and we're going to do all the things that we were not meant to do. And what we were meant to do is to get that program out there, is to make that impact, is to create that change. So my tip for you in reframing this as a catalyst, and sometimes we run away from it, I'm just going to be honest, and we feel like we have no time, but we really need to start journaling what each challenge was, what it's teaching us, and the perspective builds inner strength and clarity. Now you know that if this challenge ever comes back up again, you know how to get through it. It will not stop you. It will not hurt you. It will continue to allow you to be great. So we want to build up that resilience, have the awareness of that challenge, but journal it and make it the catalyst. Make it your okay, you can't get me today. We're gonna make this happen type of mindset. So I just have to go with that as the first tip, is just reframing that. Dr. Carolyn.
Oh, when I get here, I'll be like, dog it. How'd she know what I was gonna say next, right? That sync happen, but it's like you touch on it, and then my next tip kind of rolls into it. So when you were talking about the Be Great, I met you at Jess's event, and my signature talk when I competed in that competition, that's Jesse Cruz, and was Be Great. And I used to do this thing that comes from my early childhood part, and I bring it into the business world. It's like, going on this hunt to be great, right? Going on a bear hunt, but going on a greatness hunt. And when I talk about these challenges, you can't go over it. You can't go under it. You can't go around it. I guess I got to go through it. And so I always say you have to go through it. Obstacles, you have to see it as information, not the identity of who you are. And so a lot of times when we go through things, we take it on so personal, and we allow it to break us down because we think it's something that I did wrong, something that happened, and it throws us so far off that actual challenge becomes who we are. And it's not. That challenge, it's not just a roadblock, it's a redirection. It is information for you to be able to process and understand and learn from it, so that you don't have to go through it again. And then also so that you can collect tips and tricks and all the things to be able to share. I always say everything that I go through helps me to grow. And when I grow, I can help the next person to grow. And so you have to ask yourself, what is this obstacle actually teaching me? What is not just happening to me? It is a process that's helping me grow. It's not who I am. It's not where I'm going to be always, but it is gathering things and information so that I can continue to level up as a professional. Are you here with me? I don't know if it kind of jerked up a little bit. All right. I'm back. All right. So these challenges, like I said, they are they aren't just roadblocks. They are the redirection, and we have to get the information from it, write it down like Nikki said in the journal, because one day it is going to be the secret weapon. It's going to be the tool to help set somebody else free from having to go through the same thing. So listen, you can't go around it, you can't avoid it, you cannot stay in the same place and whine and cry about it. You can't go under it and think that it is going to stay on top of you and keep you pressed and crushed down. You can't go over it, because guess what? If you don't process it, if you don't sit with it and understand what it is taking you through, then it's not going to help you grow into the professional that you need to be. So I want to challenge you guys, because we've all been through some stuff, some obstacles. And I always say, when there's an obstacle on the road, I know that I'm on the right track. I know that I'm right where I need to be, because guess what? That obstacle is waiting for me. It's waiting for me to get there. And it's waiting to see if it can take all the strength that I have. And when I meet it, I say, hello, I know you've been waiting for me. So go ahead and teach me what you're going to teach me, because guess what? It's not going to knock me down, because way down the road, when I knew that obstacles were going to come, I went ahead on and put on my armor. I went ahead on and put on my vest. I went ahead on and put on my helmet. I went ahead on and just strapped up and got ready, because I knew that along this road, there were going to be obstacles, and I had to fight them and go through them in order to be able to learn and become the person that I am today. So I'm telling you guys, obstacles are information, not your identity. Go ahead and embrace it. Go ahead and fight through it. And on the other side, you'll be so much better, so much informative, so much helpful to the people that you're going to meet right on that road further down.
So powerful, Carolyn. And as you're talking, I don't know what it is today. I'm getting these visions and these downloads through your words. So first I thought of I Love Lucy with your first tip. This tip, when you just said you strapped on, you were on the road, you were saying, hello, I'm here, I'm ready. For whatever reason, I picked up Mario Brothers, like when, in the new world. And I'll tell you why, because I feel like every challenge is like a coin, right? You're collecting all these coins so that when you're introduced to someone, now you have the coins to give to them. Oh my goodness, like I just got chills with that. And it literally was playing in my mind as you were closing up. So see it as a game. Every game has a challenge. Every game has a new level, right? That you get there to complete the game. And that's what we are doing here in life. And I'm not saying a game where you have to like truly play with your life and all those things, but just the concept of going through these different worlds, right? Different seasons, different timelines, collect those coins. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I can go on and on about what that
I can just see it, you're just like, ding, ding, and you get all the coins, and then you got to use them, right? Because if you don't have the coins, then you know what happened to Mario when he runs out of lives, And so we have to collect those coins as we're going through it. Oh, that is so good. So good. All right.
Yes, I love it. So we're going to go into my second be great suggestion on this topic about change is really adopt a flexibility first mindset. And what that means is just let go of the plans and embrace adaptability. We have all these things in order, right? How many times have we have a calendar? Just today, I had a meeting with someone, right? And I didn't put it on my calendar. However, Mama had what's that called? A panic because my dad's out of town and she couldn't find how to work the TV. So she's like, I need to get my channels up and running. I need to know how to find it because my soaps start at 3:00 and you're going to be busy all day. So you need to come over and save me. So she totally threw off my schedule, right? These are some of the challenges. So you have to be flexible to that. And I know that, as women, as entrepreneurs, as just humans, we know that things happen. So even though we have the plan, God is going to shift you in another way. So for leaders who stay fluid can pivot quickly, right? So if you stay with that flexibility, you can adjust. Another perfect example, June 1st, my personal Facebook page got hacked. But guess what? I had a lifeline. I had my system, my CRM system. So now I built out a Ladies of Leadership in Community in that system. So now I had to adjust, I had to pivot, and we did it in 24 hours. So these are the things that you have to have and be readily available to shift that mindset. Because if we stay there, if we stay in that challenge and feel like a victim without analyzing, what got us there, we're just not going, we're going to give up. And that's what we don't want any person listening to this, feeling what we're saying, to ever give up. So another example is during a project, instead of halting momentum when a challenge comes in, you want to find new ways to improve your processes, or how do you serve your clients? Find a new way. Get feedback. Do surveys with your community. Ask them. I'm about to do we asked 100 people about X, Y, and Z, and start getting some answers on what people are really thinking about when it comes to really having that flexibility in their mindset, where they're not taken over by the challenge. Because that's the last thing we want you to be, is taken over by it. Remember, just going back to tip 1, they're lessons. They're the coins that we're collecting, and they are the experiences and the subject matter expert titles that we get because we went through them. So all of your challenges are your experiences, are your coins that you are going to give to the world and what you are building. So be flexible in that. It is okay to have plans and schedules and all those things, but no, someone's going to throw a monkey wrench in it one day or another. Maybe not every day, but it's going to happen. You have to be ready for it. So that is my tip too for this overcoming and embracing change.
Yeah, when you're talking about that Mario Brothers games, like, if people who really know me, I don't really play a lot of games, but one game that I did play was the Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers, and Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And like, those are the only 2 games that I've ever played in life, like on a video game. But when you were talking about that, I could just see those things being thrown at them, and they were just like dodging them, or they had coins to throw back at them, or they had their shield up, or they got more coins in order to be able to face those challenges. So you have to know that things are going to be thrown your way and try to knock you off your block. But you have to continue to stay focused, do the things that you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes you just have to do that adjustment, right? Like, take a deep breath and be like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because when those challenges come, our mind just goes straight to the left and start trying to repair, trying to fix, and we forget about what we're supposed to be doing. And so when you start to feel that way, just do a temperature check. Just stop, take a deep breath, look at your calendar, look at your schedule, look at what you have written down, and ask yourself, how can I adjust? Who do I need to text right now to get back on track? So I totally understand that. But this one is a little bit of my next one. It's a little bit of a personal one, because I can tell you, I was born, my mom will tell you, I came straight out of her womb just giving directives. And I am the way that I am. And I'll say that all the time. And this is knowing the difference between consistency and stubbornness. So you hear a lot of leaders say, well, that's just how I am. This is just my schedule. This is just how I do things. This is just how I am. Are you being consistent, or are you being stubborn? So knowing that consistency means that you show up, tweak, learn, and adapt. That means that you can be flexible. That means that when things come your way, you can shift. But when you're stubborn, that is repeating something that is clearly not working just because you're afraid of changing. And whenever I stepped into the business side, and people told me for years, Carolyn, you really need to help people build their business. You did it. And I'm like, yeah, I did it, but who am I to show people how to do it? And even at night, I would think, I was like, oh my God, I would be so great at giving leadership in business, teaching people how to be great, you know? And because I was stuck in who I was in my early childhood community, and I didn't want to change, even though I knew that I should. I felt like it was the right thing, but I was afraid of that change. And I was being very stubborn. And not only did one person, I can countless people would tell me after my trainings that I should be doing this. And I was like, this is just how I am. I was convinced that I was a late night person and that I don't wake up early in the morning. And it took that in order for me to understand that I was being stubborn. And I kept lying to myself and telling myself, no, you're just consistent, girl. You're just consistently who you are. And the facts were that I was blind. I was just grinding and I was blind and I was just stuck in my ways, and I was not evaluating my success. I was not evaluating where I was, which means that I wasn't being consistent. I was just being stubborn Carolyn. And even the meaning of my name, I asked my mom, why did you name me Carolyn? It talks about having that strong personality, being, that leader. And so, but that works out for my good sometimes, but sometimes it has me stuck in my ways. And I have to constantly journal and write things down. I have to say, hey, is this working? Or are you just stuck on it because you just have in your bullheaded mind that you're going to do this and it's going to work this way? And I have become so aware or open to understanding that I need to constantly evaluate whether I am being consistent or stubborn. Am I holding on to bad habits and energies and strategies that do not serve me just because I'm afraid to change, just because I'm afraid of switching things up, wondering if it's going to work or not? But guess what? What you're doing ain't working. So why are you still doing it? So why are you so afraid to do something different if the thing that you're doing ain't getting you the results that you're supposed to have? And so in that reflection, in that time, that's when I downloaded Carolyn. Don't be Carolyn of stubbornness, be Carolyn of consistency. And with Carolyn of consistency, you evaluate what is needed, you evaluate, and you are not afraid to look yourself in the mirror and say, girl, you done lost your mind. You need to hurry up and change this up before this burns up into flames. And a lot of times we get the smoke signals. We know, but we're so stubborn. We're so stuck in our ways that we don't want to just tell ourselves that we were wrong and just switch it up. And so today, I want you to evaluate in your life, is the things, the strategies, the habits that you have out of stubbornness, bad consistency, or is it of a consistency that is building you up? And sometimes we just have to just stop and ask ourselves. And just because you're not getting the results, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but just because you're not getting the results right away does not mean that you stop. So you have to really have discernment and ask yourself, am I doing this and it's out of bad habits, or am I doing this out of something that I'm building and I just need to stay the course and find out if it's going to bear the fruit that it needs to bear? So, girl, stop being stubborn. That's my leadership tip for today. All us women, because we can be something else.
Yes.
Our mind, and I know me. I'm like, when I get my mind set on something, and my mom's like, when she make up her mind about something, she gonna do it. And that's just all to it. All I have to say is, yes, I'm in for it, and I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that I can carry it out and make it happen.
I love that you put those two together, because that's truly what it is. Am I being stubborn? Am I holding on to something that's really not working, but I just love the idea? And let's just go back to that statement. I love the idea. I think it's going to be amazing. I know that this is going to change the game. It ain't about us. It ain't about us. That's why it just goes back to nurturing your community, your warm market, your cold market, and just getting people to know who you are. Consistency, trust me, you show up every day, the people will come. And I just have, before I go into my third tip, I just want to talk about that. When I first started Ladies of Leadership in November of 2022, December, I swear I was going to close out the year with 100 plus women, because in my mind, this was the best thing that, from sliced bread, right? Like, I'm going to build a community. I was new in this world. It was just 7 months it took me to even launch it, from just nurturing the relationships and building it. And in December, I was like, well, where's everybody at? Like, this is amazing. The people that are showing up, they're really getting the impact. They're sharing it. But again, it's not our way. Fast forward January, when I launched Building a Leadership Mindset, I had a friend that I went to high school with that actually DM'd me 2 weeks after my launch and said, you know what, I've been on your page. I haven't really been liking or commenting, but I just want to tell you that you have changed my life in the last year, and you have been my inspiration. So let me tell you, people are watching silently. And now she is with us. She's part of the Bomb Global team. It has been an absolute blessing, because I continue to stay consistent, even though I was having these inner thoughts of, oh, it should have been at 100. Like, who the heck am I, right? Just keep serving. That was all that was on my mind after that. She really, God brings these angels to really kind of confirm and validate that you are on the right path, and you just keep going. And it's just a reminder. So thank you for that. The third toolkit that I'm going to share with you today, I kind of said it, what it was a little bit, but I want you to build a resilience toolkit for your Be Great essence in your business, in your life, in your family, and all those things. I want you to equip yourself with the go-to tools for high stress seasons. And we kind of forget these small little things that we can do every single day that can keep us on track. And that resilient toolkit consists of affirmations, as simple as affirmations, breathing exercise, mirror work, spiritual practices, meditation, just sitting in stillness when these challenges and these roadblocks come up. Sometimes we just have to surrender. We have to get in our prayer corner, our prayer room, wherever that is, or whatever it is that you go for that energy, for that source, for that good vibration, that frequency that you are looking for to get back in balance. You have to build that toolkit. And then it goes to coaching support, right? Are you in communities that pour into you? Yes. That give you these tools day in and day out, that has a messenger thread, a Facebook group, a friend that you can call on? Like, you need to build this resilient toolkit. Like, what does that consist of? And you can do anything or have anyone in there, but make sure that it's going to serve, that when these challenges come up, you're like, you already have them on speed dial. You already have this on, let's go into. And a quick few things is, I have an alarm. Well, we all have alarms on our phones, right? And sometimes we just set it up and we forget that we could actually name these alarms. Like, you could literally text and put scriptures in it. Put your affirmations in it. I was doing for a very long time, when I started my personal development, that 5 of every hour or every 2 hours, it would go off, and I would just sit there within those 5 minutes. I'll probably take 2 to 3, read whatever verse I put in there, read whatever affirmation, and just stay with it. There you go. There you go. That's part of your resilient toolkit. It's just a quick reminder to reset and restart, because let me tell you, challenges and hurdles and all those things do not have a time. They do not have a time. You never know when they're going to show up, but this is just going back to being ready. There could be a call that you were just on, and it was supposed to be a one-on-one just to get to know you, and they just gave you a whole pitch of how their program works for you, and they don't even really want to know you, and you kind of have to be like, well, kind of what happened on that call? And it can take you different ways, and that alarm goes off, and you're like, okay, I can reset. I can get it. Like, you have to have those things in place. Set it on your calendar. 30 minutes Monday at 10 a.m. I am going to do my meditation. I'm going to go on Do Not Disturb. I'm going to turn off everything around me. I'm going to turn on that frequency. I'm going to turn on that YouTube, whatever, and just do it. And then I want you to this works because it prepares you. It's the preparation that empowers you to respond instead of react. And then when setback arises, right? So, real talk, ask yourself, what habits keep me grounded no matter what changes around me? You have to be able to ask that question. And that's going to be the first start of building that resilient toolkit. Use the resources you have around you. You have your phone 24 hours a day, probably on your nightstand. Some people might put it in another room so they can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not go back to sleep. Unlike me, where I snooze about 2 or 3 times, but I'm still up early. But yes, that resilience toolkit is going to be your best friend. I promise you. Promise you. Carolyn, give it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that goes, oh my goodness, into something that I talk about all the time, and it is the 90-day rule. So give it time, then check the fruit. So if you do not do something for 90 days, you cannot tell if it is going to make an impact or if it's going to make a result. And so every new habit, every new routine, every business shift needs about 90 days of consistency. That's those alarms in the phone before you see measurable results. And so when people tell me, oh, it didn't work, and I always ask them, how long did you do it? And they're like, well, I did it for about a month. Then you don't know if it worked. And it doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing every day. You can kind of adjust it a little bit, but you have to have consistent concept. So I always say month 1 is when you lay the foundation. That's when that's what I say, you're practicing. So you are setting that alarm clock and then saying, okay, it got to be across the room because I know I'm going to press the snooze, or I know I'm going to sleep for 15 more minutes. So that first month, you are laying the foundation. You are getting into the routine. I saw this documentary where this guy, he went to the gym for 2 weeks before he actually went into the gym. He just would wake up and drive and just park there. And it was just about creating that routine and that consistency. And then he got enough strength and he went in. And so for 30 days, you have to lay that foundation and make sure that you don't stop. Because in this 90 days, let me tell you something. If you stop one day, if you give yourself grace for one day when you're building this consistency, then you might as well start that thing all over. And I'm going to tell you, I tried that with something as simple as making up my bed. And the one day that I said, oh my God, if you do this, you're going to be late, I had to start all over because it was 2 weeks before I made that bed up again. And so make sure that you're spending a month laying the foundation. Month 2 is when you check and you kind of refine things, right? In that 90 days. And so basically it is like checking in to make sure you are getting some of the results that you want, because you're kind of like almost midway through this process. You are kind of looking at it and saying, I wake up at 4:30 and I notice that I still need those 3 more minutes, or maybe I should wake up at, 4:25, or maybe, you know what, I noticed that I need that extra 10 minutes, so maybe 4:40 is the best time, for me. So you're kind of making a little bit of an adjustment, but basically you're reinforcing what you have laid in that foundation during those first 30 days. And then in the last stretch, that last month, those last 9, you're measuring your momentum, you're measuring your fruit, you're seeing what you're getting out of it, you're starting to see how people are showing up to where you are. I always say you plant it, you water it, and then you just watch it grow. And just like Nicky said, as long as you stay consistent, as long as you stay in that plan, then guess what? People are going to show up and people are going to see you. And guess what? You're going to be a staple in their routine and what they do. And because they know that they can count on you being in that place to get what they need. And sooner or later, you're going to get that message in your inbox that say, hey, I've been watching you for a couple of months now. I know that you're the real thing now. I see people around you getting results. I see you getting results. And so definitely I want to be a part of that. I tell people with social media, have you posted consistently for 90 days before you're saying you want somebody to join what you're doing? You're not even consistent. So what make me think that you're going to be consistent with your product? And so when you are newly launching something, you have to put in and lay that foundation. You have to refine your process and you have to measure that momentum and keep it going. And once you do something for 90 days, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your normal routine and it's really hard to break it. Even something as simple as it's been 3 years now since I've eaten meat. And I remember laying the foundation of me not eating meat, right? It was like, okay, I'm going to do away with beef. And I was like, okay, I was good for 2 weeks. Okay, now I'm going to do away with chicken. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. Now, the hardest thing, you guys will never guess, I had to hold on to it to the very last thing. And I remember my last supper with my bacon. I wanted my bacon until to the very end. And I remember saying, bye bye, bacon. I know I can't have you anymore. But then after that withdrawal for a couple of weeks, then a month, then I was like, oh my God, I feel different. All right. So here's what I need to adjust. I need to adjust my carbs because guess what? I need more for energy. I need more protein in my diet. So I started to refine the process. Before I knew it, now you can't even dangle a piece of bacon in me and I'd be in front of me and I'd be tempted. And it only took about 3 months for me not to even have the desire to go back. The same thing with waking up at 4:30 a.m. and being ready to go live at 5 a.m. All it took was me to lay that foundation, to refine the process and stay consistent with it. And man, the results that I got from it has been life-changing. And I want to challenge you. If there's anything that you really want, whether you're launching a business or whether you've been in business, I want you to be consistent at something, dealing with your clients and your customers for 90 days. I want you to either go live for 90 days. I want you to post reels for 90 days, or I want you to post on your social media for 90 days. An email every day for 90 days. I want you to either send out text messages every day for 90 days and just watch the results that you get just from being consistent and showing up. That's my next tip. My 90-day rule.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for, oh my gosh, this was so good because I have a story for every topic you've given us so far. And I have to share this one about consistency, about asking someone, when they give up after 30 days, and they're like, well, you don't have no data to analyze if it worked or it didn't, right? Like, where are you getting this information from? It's just something that we kind of tell ourselves because we didn't get the results, right? So this gentleman actually rented out the Holiday Inn next to the airport for, I think, about a month before he started seeing results. And this was every week, once a week, and there was no one showing up, just him and his wife. But every time he did, he actually practiced his presentation. And he used up the hour, he still paid for it. And a couple weeks, the manager was like, hey, like, you're using up our space, there's no one's coming in. And he just had the faith. He just believed so much in what he was doing that he kept going. And then next week, after he had that conversation, 2 people started showing up. 2 turned into 4. 4 turned into 16. Like, it was just multiplying. And no one ever knew that he was there. He never even shared how many times he ran until he, built the team. And that became his testimony because he never gave up. He stayed consistent and he practiced. So now his presentation was on fire. Like, he could go through it. He had no problem. That was the preparation for his growth, for his be great moment, because he never gave in, whether the seats were filled or not. So that, when I heard that story and I heard his testimony, I'm like, oh my God. Like, if that does not empower you to keep going to get the results that you're looking for, I don't know what else can. And this is not something that he didn't pay for. Like, he was paying, I don't know how much it was every week for an hour at the Holiday Inn next to the airport. Like, just really think about that.
Yeah.
What are you, what's the distance you're going to go to get the results that you're looking for? It's not a microwave thing. It doesn't happen in seconds. It takes years. Carolyn said in the first couple of years, people throw in the towel. And it's just something that you just have to be ready for. And that is your be great moment. So let's go into the next one. And I just want you to say, I just want to tell you that change isn't the enemy. Comfort is the enemy. Let's be clear. Change doesn't break you. Comfort does. That business you want, that impact you dream of, it lives on the other side of your comfort zone. So if you're laying back and you're just thinking about it and saying it out loud and nothing is actually, no actions are being attached to that, and you're not getting uncomfortable with that, you know, with all of those things that Dr. Carolyn suggested for the next 90 days to build that habit of consistency, whether it's texting 90 people for 90 days, going live for 90 days, doing reels, all of those things are uncomfortable. But guess what? If we don't do those things, if we don't get uncomfortable, nobody hears our story. Nobody hears our voice.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting the tools and things that they need in order for them to grow. Remember, we're here in community. We are put here on a world with billions of other people to serve as servant leaders. And servant leadership does not include comfort. Jesus walked the world and no one respected him until they did, because he just showed up authentically himself with his mission. He died on the cross. Like, oh my God, if that's not uncomfortable, we cannot say that we are uncomfortable. That's where we have to get on the other side of that comfort zone. So you say you want growth, but do you want what comes with it? Ask yourself that. Do you want what comes with it? The discomfort, the hard decisions, the letting go. When you can become the authority of your life and be able to answer that, that is when you are to step into your be great moment. If it's stretching you, it's growing you. And I challenge you to lean into that 100,000%. Get out of that comfort zone. The change is going to go along with it. It's just the common denominator in this equation. There's always going to be change. Yeah. So I just wanted to leave you with some real talk about just getting out of your comfort zone. And really, for me, I'm in my comfort zone, right? The challenges, I actually embrace those. I take those in because that's my comfort zone, because I've already built the resilient toolkits to be able to go through those. And that's when you're in that be great status. You're in that essence, and you're really living in your calling, your purpose. And people are waiting for that. People are waiting for that. Don't have fear in yourself, in your greatness, what God gave you. Do not buckle down to change. Embrace it. Walk in it. I think you just walk a little taller when you have it, when you're like, right? And I'm short. I'm 5 feet tall, but I feel like I'm 7 feet tall when I am in and embracing that. I challenge it. I accept it. Let's receive it and let's go through it. The testimonies on the other side are just so much better. Oh, okay, I'm going to stop there because that one I could take on.
You're trying to grab all the nuggets. These podcasts can be hard because you'd be like, yeah. You want to jump in there and you're like, okay, just let her finish. Just let her finish before you get too excited. Oh my God. When you were talking, like, two things just popped into my mind. And it is that, consistency isn't about never changing. It's just about not quitting while you're going through it. And a lot of times we want to just give up, and we don't want to, change up a little bit so that we can get the results. And another thing that you were talking about, and I used to tell some of my friends, and they would be like, girl, you do too much. Growth requires a little bit of grief. Okay. Growth requires grief, because you have to let go of old things and embrace new things. You almost need to sit around and get you a little box and some sticky notes and write down all the things that you're about to bury and grieve over and let go of, that you cannot take into this next level of your life. And a lot of us don't want to sit down and do that because we don't want to look in that mirror. But you have to allow yourself to grieve and let go of it so that you can be new again, so that you can walk into that next place of life. And if you're not willing to do that and make that change, then those leadership skills are not going to flourish, and they're not going to grow. Change is a leadership skill. And a lot of us think it is, crisis mode, right? We think that, I got to change, I got to change, I got to, no, it is a part of being an amazing leader. And we're on the leadership podcast where we are building leaders, and understand that change comes as a part of that skill. And if you have to learn through the change and not just through survival mode. Change is a test of your vision. It is a test of your flexibility, like Nicky said. And most of all, it is a test of your faith. Do you actually have that faith? Have you ever seen a mustard seed and how little it is? You have to have just a little bit of that when you're going through it and you are changing, in the fact that just this change and believing just a little bit in it is going to get you the results that you actually need. And you have to equip yourself, equip your team, because if you are a crisis mode leader, then guess what? When change comes, your team is going to feed off of that, oh my God, falling apart. And when things come their way, they're going to fall apart. So you have to equip yourself along with your team to embrace change with clear communication, strategy, and emotional awareness. Yes, you may feel like you're going to fall apart. Yes, you may need that moment to grieve with your confidant, with somebody that's close to you. But when you step in front of your team, you have to lead with the mindset that this change is good for us. It is good for you. I give you permission to grieve in your comfort spot, but not in this place, because we're embracing the change and we cannot have those negative feelings and negative thoughts. And even within your big emotions, if you have a little faith in this leadership, a little faith in this company, then you will embrace this change so that we can power up and go to the next level. Change like a leader. And you have to change what you say, change what you do, change how you show up, especially when there's a shift going on in your business. A lot of us are not willing to ride the wave. They always tell you, like, whenever a current comes, if you fight against it, you're sure enough going to drown and die. But if you just relax and ride the wave and embrace it, then you will most likely survive all of the turmoil, all of the rocky waters that come along with it. Normalize and understand as a leader that you're going to be discomfort, that you're going to be uncomfortable sometimes, that there's a level of discomfort that you're going to go through. You think that a person who is riding a wave is comfortable? No, they have water splashing in their face. They want to fight against it. And it's hard to allow sometimes that change to overtake you and take you to the next level. All you have to do is make sure that when you're on that path and you're riding that wave, that you continue to have clarity. And clarity is knowing that on the other side of that change, there's something even better than what you can even think or imagine. So yes, I know as a leader, it can be hard. I know sometimes that you're like, man, this is just too much. But I want you to just look at yourself, stare in the mirror, and I want you to say, I am the leader I'm the leader of this vision. I'm the leader of this company. I am the leader of this very passion that was placed inside of me. And I am okay with changing. I am okay with growing to be the best that I can be, even though it doesn't feel comfortable, even though it's late nights and early mornings, even though it seems like I am stretching every penny to make sure that everything is taken care of, even though it requires having uncomfortable relationships, even though it requires to say no sometime and I don't want to say no, even though it requires me not pushing that snooze button one more time, even though it requires how I eat, how I think, how I process things. It's not comfortable. But at the end of the day, it is required to be a leader because we never want to be operating in crisis mode. So understand and embrace this right now, because I'm telling you, if you decide today while watching this that you are going to bury some of those old habits and embrace the new, 90 days from now, when you come back and you're watching us 3 months down the road, you're going to be commenting, oh my God, I remember when you guys talked about change, and I am a different leader to this day because of what you said on this podcast.
That just gave me chills. And that goes for both of us. I don't know about you, Dr. Carolyn, but every podcast that we have done to date has been rewatched by me, just taking your nuggets. Sometimes we're definitely, most of the time, we are in sync, just giving the same type of vibes. But I love that we get to splash Carolyn on it, splash Nicky, and just our experiences. It has been absolutely phenomenal. And I love that you talked on leadership because, again, here we are in sync. I want you to share your story to lead others by vocally about your journey through the mess, not just the message. It has to be through the mess. It works because it shares transparency. It builds the connection. It molds the trust, and it encourages others to keep going as well. And that is our mission. Our mission as leaders here on this Be Great series is to have that domino effect, that every word that's said, that's taken, that's digested, and that's put into action. We cannot lead if we haven't went through this ourselves, right? We have been through the motions for years and years and years, and so have you. So have each of you that have been listening. So we are no better. We all stand right on the same level. We're human. We go through these things. They might look a little bit different, but you have to lead with your story through the mess. Turn your challenges into a testimony. The biggest challenge I had, that's my walking testimony day in and day out, is that I gave my blood, sweat, and tears to corporate America to climb a corporate ladder that did not exist for me because God had something else. And I didn't know it until I started digging deeper into who I am, what I wanted, how I wanted my life to be. And then being able to replicate that and actually make it my testimony and create my path and now show women how to do that for themselves. It's a gift. It's something that I don't take lightly. God could have chosen anyone, but He's chosen you for your mission.
Yes.
He's chosen you for your mission. So share it on all your platforms to uplift someone. Don't hide that to yourself. That would be a disservice for millions of people. We're talking millions and billions that need to hear your story and your testimony and your walk. And we have multiple. It's not just corporate America. It's being a mom, how to make a decision about certain things as a mom, how to make some decisions in my finances. I didn't have the greatest, right, when it comes to credit and when it comes to all these things. And you learn about them, you have to give that back. How did you make your first million? How did you make your first 1,000? Like, let's be real. Let's start where it's at. Something more than what we're working for is a testimony, and you have to lead with that. So what I want to challenge you with today is that, or what I want to let you know is that your story will set someone else free.
Yeah.
It will. I promise you. You don't
Yeah.
have to wait until it's pretty and perfect to speak, because
Mhm.
let me tell you, building a leadership mindset sat for 2 years collecting dust. It was built with one video on fixed and growth mindset. But at that time, I wasn't ready because I was still on a fixed mindset thinking, oh my God, am I going to make it? But once I changed my mindset and my limiting beliefs went out the window, it was resurrected because that was the seed that was planted 2 years before I actually went live and started bringing phenomenal individuals that went through the same stories and testimonies, just like Dr. Carolyn, Judith, Marilyn. I can go on and on about the list of ladies, and all those things. But someone needs to hear how you kept showing up while the storm
Yeah.
was still raging. While the storm was still happening, how did you show up? So just know that your voice is a blueprint, period. Use it. Don't hold it for yourself.
Love
Share the
that.
behind the scenes, share all of the good, the bad, the ugly, without putting everything out there. But you can do it in such a way
That's
that's
right.
going to create impact. And that makes you great. That makes your mission greater. And that makes the world greater. So that is what I have, just wrapping it up on this amazing topic. You can feel my passion. I love it. I embrace it. Change it, because sometimes that is all we need, is just a little pivot. Just a
Yeah.
little pivot.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Dr.
Oh my
Carolyn, let's
goodness.
close us
Okay,
out
okay,
here.
okay. So this is like so good. I know if you're watching this, you're like, yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. You're not stuck. You're just repeating things that are not servicing you. You are not stuck. And a lot of times on this journey, we're called to greatness and not just to be great. And every time that I try to just be great, an obstacle would come up that would push me into understanding that I wasn't called to be stuck right there to be great, but I was called to operate in greatness. And there's a total difference between just being great and operating in a total greatness to impact the world. And so, from losing my very first child through miscarriage, I knew that I was not just supposed to get stuck and that wasn't supposed to stop me, but that obstacle came to release something inside of me to understand that this is not just for the normal level, that you were called to greatness. When I went through a divorce that I never thought would happen to me, it was like, that's because I didn't call you to be just stuck in this place. I called you to operate in greatness. So you're ascending to something better. I've went through some things where I've been falsely accused. Things have been stolen and taken from me. In every single instance, I knew that it was a reflection that, hey, here you go, being great again. And now you need to ascend to greatness. And so every obstacle and challenge that we've gone through as leaders and that you are going through right now, financially, mentally, friendships, family, all of the things, is calling you to go beyond just being great, but to operate in your higher self, in the fullness and the greatness of who you were created to be. And so understand that that change has to happen. Those shifts have to happen. Those obstacles have to come your way, because otherwise you would not be the bold, beautiful, impactful leader that is listening to this podcast right now. So, I mean, this topic makes me so excited because I know the journey that I had to go through to get here, and to know that I'm not done yet, and that I am already getting my Mario suit on and getting ready, because I know that there's going to be obstacles down the road that's going to take me even higher. It makes me excited. And so instead of looking at those challenges as something that is going to set me back and take me off my course, I get excited when I see them, because I know that it's another level that I'm going to get to just because I went through that. So I'll leave you with that, my friends. I'll leave you with that, my friends.
Mm. Oh my goodness, so powerful. I think I'm kind of probably I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, good, good, good. I was just getting like that was powerful. That was a mic drop all in itself. Thank you so much for the motivation. Thank you so much for saying yes to this series. We are midway through the year. We are in the second half. Halftime has passed. We are again in quarter three with bringing you all of these topics. And next month, we will be bringing you the power of networking and relationships. Oh my God, that's how it all started for me. So, I'm going to dive deep into that one. I know that's how we connected. We went to a networking event and we built a relationship, and here we are, just amazing friends. I can't wait to squeeze you in a couple weeks at our Warrior Women Bomb Global Conference 2, which she is our MC and she is going to bring the heat. I'm so excited. And then thank you so much for inviting some of your team. Can't wait to see Mama. But this has been phenomenal. And again, these rooms will create the changes that you are looking for as well, because that's how it changed my life. Again, a walking testimony of when I said yes to entering a room with phenomenal people that were pouring into me and giving some of these tips that we get to share today. Right?
Yes.
It's a blessing. Thank you all for listening to another episode of the Be Great series with Dr. Carolyn and Nicky. Please check out these websites here. Dr. Carolyn, trainingyoutosucceed.net, where you can find out all the amazing things she's doing with her Passionpreneur and with her academy. Absolutely phenomenal. I know people are waiting on the Digiballs coming up, so let us know when that is again. And then we have buildingaleadershipmindset.com/events or empowertoinspiretour.com. I love you guys. This has been made out of love. This has been created again to empower and to have you live in your greatness by being great every single moment, every single opportunity that you get to breathe that into yourself and into others. That is all we ask for. Comment, like, share, tag a friend. Don't keep this information to yourself at all. Carolyn, last words, and then we'll close out.
Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna say, if you want new results, you need a new rhythm. And so I want to challenge all of you guys to take our 90-day challenge and go forward and make those changes and embrace those obstacles that are going to come your way. Expect them to come your way and be ready to overcome them.
Absolutely. With that, we say make every second count.
Yes.
Have a great one. See you next month.